What's happening, guys? Today's another day on the channel, and today we're going to be jumping around between two cars. We're going to do stuff on the Miata, and we're going to do stuff on the 180. So on the 180, I got some JB Weld, and I got some super glue here. We're going to work on the panel right here. We're going to get this thing all put back in and get that all sealed up. And then the other thing that I want to do on the 180 is I want to sand this down a little bit, kind of basically just Scotch-Brite it. And then I bought some paint that's down here. I like to use this type of paint for pretty much everything. It's not glossy, it's just a flat black, but it's for roll bar and it's high temp chassis paint. So we're going to use this to paint this bracket up, and then that actually goes inside in here, and that is for the dashboard. It's what holds the dashboard up. So we're going to get that thing back into here. I might pop that little bracket off and this bracket off as well and paint those while we're at it. We could also paint a couple more things in here, like the actual bracket that holds the hydro, paint that up again. And I think that might be about it that needs some paint in here, besides like some brackets and stuff that goes on the back here, which we could do that later. That all gets hidden anyways. This thing under here gets hidden anyways, but it's starting to rust, and I don't want very much rust on this car. So we're gonna fix all this stuff, and yeah. On the Miata though, we're going to raise the rear, and we're going to put these brake pads here on it. These are for the rear. I've had these for a while, just never put them on it because, I don't know. But either way, we're gonna throw the brake pads on it, and we're gonna lift the rear up a little bit so that it sits pretty even now. But let's go ahead, start off with this, since this is something that can be done really quick. And then we're gonna do this, and then we'll go get the Miata. Okay, so I got a cool little setup here. GoPro sitting in the toolbox. We got the crash bar here, and we got some Scotch-Brite. So basically all I'm gonna do is just get most of this rust off and sand it down. I have some acetone over there that I'm gonna wipe on this before I go ahead and paint it, and should come out pretty good. I've definitely painted a lot of stuff before, but never a crash bar, but should be the same as everything else. And then the little thing for the door card here, got a lot of JB Weld on there. Gonna let that dry up a little bit. Then we're gonna go ahead, flip it over, and we're gonna put in our little patch for the fake leather on the other side. And then we'll go ahead and just let this sit, and we'll go and get some material maybe this week, and we'll try to see what Carlos could do with these door panels. Okay, so we made a huge mess on the table, but this is as sanded down as it's gonna get, because it's gonna take me hours upon hours to get every single speck of rust off this so that it's a perfectly clean piece. I wiped it all down with the acetone back there, so we should be good to paint it. I'm gonna bring it outside, we're gonna spritz it up a little bit, and we're gonna let it sit, and then we'll probably put a second coat on it. I'll probably take those brackets off later on tonight, and then we'll do those. So after we spritz this down once, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the Miata. Okay, so door card is here. I just trimmed up this a little bit more, super glued it in, so now that's all set. Actually, it doesn't look half bad. I mean, it is going to be covered up, so it's not terrible, but it doesn't look half bad. And then the back here, this is pretty solid. That's not moving anymore. This little foam piece up here, that was part of the JB Weld, so that's gonna be stayed onto there now. I will have to massage that little piece of metal, like I said yesterday, so we will do that later. But I'm pretty excited to try to fit this door card on later, so we're just gonna let this sit until later on tonight. Then we'll try to fit the door card on, and that'll be probably like one of the last things that we do, because we got a lot of other stuff to do. But I did paint this, so this is all painted up now. In here, letting it dry, so no bugs really get on it. And it's got a couple runs in it here and there, but it's okay. It's going to be covered up by the dashboard anyways, so yeah, looks pretty good. I'm excited for that. Okay, so we're looking at the Miata now. This thing is it's a unit. It's definitely a unit. So bad thing is jack broke. I don't know what the heck happened to this thing, but I have to try to bleed it. I didn't have any like gear oil or jack oil, so I just put some 530 engine oil in it. And I don't know, we'll look at it in a sec. I just looked up a video. But over here with the Miata, we're gonna end up raising the coils because this thing is all the way maxed out low in the back, and I want to bring it up just a little bit, not a lot, but enough. These rear brake pads are definitely getting worn down, so we're going to swap those out. And the rotors, I probably should replace the rotors, but I don't have any right now, and it's late, so we're just going to throw some pads on it. It's fine. The rotors are actually not in bad shape. They do have a little bit of pitting from it sitting for a while when I first built this thing, and then after it's been sitting for about a week now, so it doesn't have a lot of rust, but it's got some rust. But the brakes still stop perfectly fine. And anyways, the front does like 90% of the braking on this thing, so it's all good. So we're gonna raise the back. We're gonna put the brake pads on. I was gonna do something else. Oh yeah, there's a cluster piece that I have over there for it, so we're gonna put that on it. And looking at these tires, you know, on the outside, they look pretty good, even up here at the very top. But when you get down to the bottom, they're showing cords. So it's about time that I get some new tires for this thing. So we'll put some new tires on the back. Fronts are still brand new pretty much, so there ain't nothing wrong with these bad girls. So we'll get some 2 new for the rear, and I might just get 4 so that I have a second set for burners for when I want to go drifting again at like the compound or something like that. But yeah, let's go ahead, lift the back up, and then swap these brake pads on. Okay, so we're back here on this passenger side. We're doing the brakes. This is the new pad right here, brand new. They even come with the little retainer clips, which is awesome. And then I just have to reuse this, which puts pressure in between the pads to push them out when they're together. Figure out exactly how that thing works, but we'll figure that out. These were the old ones right here. These things are so small compared to everything else. So, yep, we're gonna put these in. These ones aren't that bad, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna hold these off to the side for, I'll put them in this box and we'll just keep them as some spares in case I ever blow out one or if I forget about them or something like that. So, yeah, let's go ahead and push this piston back and then we'll go ahead and put the new pads in. Okay, so bad news about the brakes is I think this caliper is seized, so we're gonna have to go around and figure out what's going on with that. I have a tool at Mercedes that should help out, but it's not here right now, so we gotta figure that out later. I also may need to get like a vise where I put it in here and then I just kind of crank on it and see if I can get it to push back in. After it pushes back in, it's probably gonna be okay, but as of right now, it looks like it's seized. I mean, this car, like I said, does 90% of the braking from the front, so I'm not super worried about it, but I mean, I'd like to have good rear calipers because if I ever put a hydro in this thing or something like that, then that'd be really good. On this side, we have to bolt it back up, and then we have to adjust this coil over. And we're only gonna go up probably about 4 or 5 threads on it and see what it's like. As of right now, it's been grinding on the axle. So yeah, that's gonna make the axle stop squealing as well. So we'll see what we do. So I raised the back on both sides about 5 to 6 threads. So let's see how much this raises it. Then we're gonna go ahead and go on inside the car and we'll see what we could do in there. That I just need to change the cluster piece out, which will take me about 2 minutes to do that. And then we'll probably go back onto the 180 for a little bit, and that'll probably be the end of the video. Okay, so doesn't look half bad. That was a stand back shot when I first start there. Kinda, it's a little bit more even on it. I don't like it. I wish this thing was on the ground, but whatever. But yeah, this thing is pretty evenly sitting now. That actually raised it a lot. I mean, I also haven't moved it since I just put it down, and these coils have to settle because, you know, they're wasteland. So Yeah, this thing might actually be a little bit lower tomorrow. But either way, it's a lot better, and I shouldn't hit anything anymore, which I was kind of okay with this, knocking some reflectors off the ground every once in a while. But yeah, the car should ride a lot better, which is a good thing about it. So yeah, now we're just going to do the cluster thing, and then we'll jump back onto the 180 content for a little bit. Okay, so now we're just going to, you know, lightly pull this thing, and this thing here should just kind of come off like that. And then we're able to just get the screws that go onto this, pull the two connectors off the back, and then we'll pull this out real quick. So that's basically the whole reason why we're doing this. I could just change the cluster, but I believe this is the one that goes in it because this one has more miles than this one, and this was the one that was out of another car that somebody gave me. So yeah, we're just going to change this hood to this one, and then we'll be good. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So now we're going to just plop this thing back in, put our hood cover over it, and call it, I guess, on this thing. Oh, that's something I could do. I could try to get the radio to sit in here better, because right now it's just flopping in there. So we might be able to make a little bracket somewhere in there for it. So we might take the center console out. I don't know. We'll see what we're going to do in a minute. So for the people who remember my old Miata, this thing is literally Turd Bucket V2 because I don't have materials here. I don't have like metal or anything like that, or a drill for that matter, to even try to make a bracket. So I went in the garbage, and the cardboard that I had left over from putting that shelf together yesterday, I kind of just made a thing that goes on the bottom here, and it kind of just holds the radio in place. So super ghetto, super janky, but it works, and there's not really that much slop in it now, and it's still easily to come out, but I don't think it's gonna fly out. So I mean, we'll leave it for right now, and later on we'll figure out how to put the sides in a little bit more and get it to actually be in the right spot. But hey, it works, and now the radio won't move around, and it kind of looks a little bit better. So we're definitely going to do a lot more stuff with this thing, but it's good for right now. Back in the 180, what we're going to do is we're going to pull off this door card because this switch is actually broken here, and then I have the one off of the other 240 over there. And then we're going to take this bracket off and that bracket off on that side, and we're going to paint those as well. And then I have the ring that goes around the shifter right here. So we'll paint all of those little brackets, and then we'll be able to put that stuff back into here later on. Hopefully I can... So the plan is to paint these two brackets, get the crash bar in, and then start working on the dashboard to get the dashboard back into here so that that will be all set and done. And then we can start putting the interior back together a little bit, or we'll just put the dashboard in so that it's easy to take in and out, so that when I get the harness, we can start doing that, because that's going to take a long time to do. And that needs to be done a specific way because I want it all to round out that side and just go down the driver's side here. So let's go ahead, do this door card, pull these brackets out so we can start doing that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the door switch out of the 240, and then this is the one out of the 180. So we're just going to basically pull these two screws out and swap the switch, and then the switch will be perfectly fine. We should be able to put it in. Yeah, that thing's really broken there. Oh, the thing isn't even on it. That's why it's broken. There's like a little retainer clip on it that's supposed to be in there, and it's not. For a really beat up 242, that thing has a lot of good parts, and like that thing is not like rusted on the inside except for the chassis. Meanwhile, the 180 is like rusted everywhere. So I'm like, what the heck? But this is a super simple fix, and as soon as I screw this in, we're done. Now let's go ahead and put it in. Now we'll have a good switch. So something I want to do really quick is I want to give this thing a nice little wipe down before you actually install it in a car and see what it looks like. So I'm just going to wipe this down and then I'll show you the install of it into the car. Look at that. That is so nice. Even though it's got that one little blemish up there next to the door handle, still super nice to have a full completed door panel again that isn't all messed up at the top and is falling apart. So this is super sick. I'm so excited about that. So last thing I'm going to do for tonight, I'll finish this video tomorrow morning. I'll put the crash bar in tomorrow morning, is that I'm going to clean up those brackets. I'm going to paint all that stuff and then I'll just let it dry overnight. And then we'll throw all that stuff in tomorrow morning and see what it looks like. Yeah, other than that, we kind of got away again. Oh, right, I was going to get the dash down and then I was going to start fiddling with the dash. A lot of people who have done dash restorations usually use Bondo to do it. I might use JB Weld. I'm not too sure on it yet. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it, but I want something that's not going to be like super rigid, so it's just going to crack again. And if you mix JB Weld kind of more filler than hardener, like a lot of filler and then like a tiny pea of like hardener, then it'll be kind of rubbery and it'll actually like be elasticy, I guess you could say, which is not actually that, but we're going to figure out what we're going to do with that dashboard in a little bit. Okay, so it's the next day and we're going to finish this up here. So all the brackets here are painted. Everything's nice. Look at that. Everything's all painted up, ready to go back in the car. So let's go ahead and bolt this stuff back up and then we'll try to put the dashboard in, and that'll probably be like the last thing that we do in the video here. Okay, so looks pretty good in here. Door card is on. This thing is back in, the crash support for the dashboard. So everything that is painted is this piece in the crash bar, the other piece on the other side, and then the shifter bolt down cover. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to toss the dash in and see how it goes, and we'll go from there. I kind of want to paint the whole interior black, like just do the whole skim coat of everything in here black again, but we'll see about that later on. The main thing that we need to do is we just need to continue working on this thing to get it back together, because if I don't, then it'll never get done. So let's go ahead and toss the dash in and then see what it looks like now. Okay, so dashboard is back in. Literally takes 2 seconds. Some of these little brackets, like this side right here, has to be massaged back up, because when I actually had this thing out, the crash bar was underneath the back of the car and the car kind of tipped off the thing that it's sitting on and it bent it. So we'll have to just massage it back. Those are just like sheet metal things, though. When it gets bolted down, it'll probably line up a lot better. But the next thing that I'll do is I'll start working on the dashboard to get all these cracks out of it. We got a crack there, and a crack over there. So we'll have to work on this thing to get it back in a good shape. We'll probably take all the vents and everything out. And then later on, what I would like to do is I would like to figure out how to get the, the roll bar into here, because I want it to go through the dash. I don't want it to wrap around the dash. I want it to go right through. So we'll have to figure out how to get it through right there, like in this area. So we'll figure that out. I want to drill like a hole through there and then get it so that it goes down to the footwell down there, instead of being around it. So we'll figure all that out later. That's a lot later, because that's going to be when the car is rolling kind of thing. We'll take it to somebody and he'll make me a roll cage for this thing. But yeah, next is the dash in the next video. But that's about it though, guys. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, share, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.